Hello, everyone. My name is Max Berryman. I'm the sports director here at WVOF, Fairfield Student Radio. By my side here, I'm joined with Andrew Jameson, our fantastic assistant sports director. And today we are starting something new here at WVOF, something we hope to have as a staple going forward, and that is interviews with Fairfield athletes and coaches across campus. And who better to start off with than the MAC Player of the Week for her third straight week, Janelle Brown.
Yes, sir.
Very excited to have you on. Obviously, very hot start to the season, 7-1. A lot to talk about, not only just in season, but kind of before heading into the second year with Coach Carly, and very different team in front of you as well. So definitely very excited to hop into that today, and just to kind of start here, Janelle, just tell us a little bit how season's going so far.
Yeah, season's going really well. Like you said, we started off pretty hot and everything, and I think that right now, just our team chemistry and our teamwork is just really showing on and off the court. I mean, we're outscoring opponents in the first quarter. You said it, 182 by 96. So I'm actually kind of surprised by that stat, but I'm not shocked by the work and by where we at right now. Like, we put in this work. We really took the time, and but just like we knew that we were going to have a target on our backs coming into conference because of how well we are. And I think that with the people we got, the coaching staff that we got, we're just at a really good spot right now. We're just trying to keep it going.
And you mentioned the offensive success that you've obviously had with huge part of that being two of the freshmen, Megan Anderson and Katie Lamro. Last year you were more of a defensive team, which led the MAC. I think you were 60th in the nation with 18 turnovers per game. But seeing this new culture, I guess with this this offensive firepower that you're starting. What did you start the game against St. John's? 5 of 6 from 3. How do you just credit that? And then you mentioned a new scheme before we were going off the air. What changes have you noticed from this season to last?
Yeah, we just aren't backing down. We're not letting our opponent hit first. We're striking back first. We are hungry dogs, so hungry dogs eat first, and that's exactly what we're going to do all day and every day. Our freshmen aren't even playing like freshmen right now because they have confidence like juniors, seniors, guys my age basically. So I'm not really shocked at the way that they're playing. I think that this is just the beginning for both of them, both Meg and Katie. But you can't sleep on our other two freshmen, Casey and Carly, because Carly's just going to blow right by you with the left hand. Right hand don't matter, and then Casey's just a knockdown shooter. So, honestly, we have so much talent and so many people who are willing to work for this team's success, and I think that's why things are working right now in the end.
No, I definitely, you mentioned, everyone seems to be reaping, the benefits right now, and not on the stat sheet, but even off the stat sheet, you just seem the camaraderie and, the culture is just very exciting as here at WVOF, and also just for Stag Sports in general.
Yeah, and just to tack onto that, the camaraderie you talk about, it's a very different team from this year to last. And so is this something kind of going into the season, how did you all kind of build that chemistry? Is this something that, Coach Carly, does she have a plan in mind? Like you said, too, even just the way the team is built, it's a lot of getting used to. So what kind of things there did you have to worry about heading into the season with that?
Honestly, the only thing that we really got to worry about is not playing our game and not playing to each other's strengths. I think Coach Carly has really done a good job this season, and all the coaches, honestly, of having us play together and play to each other's strengths, but also playing with composure and some poise. You see, Lammy got a nice little jump stop floater the other day in the game, but we've been on her, even in practices, even over the summer. She's a very fast point guard, so she tends to do the jump passes, and you saw that turnover in the Fordham game. But she's just her carryover has been really well. And then just coming together, having everybody talk through things. No one takes selfish shots, pass up a good shot for a great shot. That's what Coach Carly always tells us to do. And continuously just playing to each other's strengths. I think that's what's really got us going this year. You did mention that this team is definitely completely different from last year, and I think that that's on our new guys, the 4 new freshmen, and then the 3 new transfers that we got. But we've just been working. Honestly, that's all I can say. We put in that work for us to really find each other's strengths. I know Ken's a knockdown shooter. She's going to like it on the wing, pass it to her. Katie can just shoot it off the dribble in the corner, wherever, half court. She's going to shoot it, knock it down as well. But just trying to get to know my teammates off the court so that I know their strengths on the court is what really helped with this team chemistry.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about the chemistry. I think back to the Fordham game. I think in the fourth, pass open to Magruder, misses the three. You all get the board, pass it right back, exact same spot. She puts up the same shot, it goes down. That's something to me that has stood out, especially this year, is just that ability to, individually, everyone on that court able to just kind of, forget about the last play no matter what happened and just be able to keep moving forward with that. And you mentioned poise earlier, and although we're talking about the team, obviously we're here with you, so I wanted to get a bit into that. Two things I think you could definitely point to as far as discipline and poise is shot selection, and then kind of on the defensive end, kind of fouling too. Has been night and day.
Hell.
Yeah, night and day difference too. And some of them, obviously the Fairfield bias I would see last year, the refs have, that's a ticky-tack one in the middle of the court. So, but yeah, just in general, shot selection especially, three-point shooting, and you're shooting 66%, 12 of 18, and if you don't count, I'm not counting that halftime one against Fordham
right.
there. So then we're approaching 70%. But no, I mean, really just, 18, that's a sizable amount of threes. It's not like it's the first game and you're shooting this percentage. So kind of what for you, how has has there been a thought process with shot selection in general and kind of making that right play? It's been something where, last year you had that ability, I think, to make the right play as well. But this year, kind of with, a team around you, I think maybe there's more threats everywhere as well. What's allowed you to be able to just be so efficient, not only shooting the three ball, but just in general, field goal percentage?
I feel like with that question, it's definitely feedback. Like the feedback that I get from my teammates and my coaches definitely help. But you asked, was there a thought process behind it? So, last season when the season was over, basically, and I had my end of the year meeting with Coach E, she basically was like, listen, this year literally just got to us. We didn't really work for it. We kind of expected things to get handed to us. So this year I kind of came into the summer knowing that we're going to have different people, different talent. Just basically all right, now I'm a senior. Now I have to step up and be that leader, be that person that the lower classmen can really look up to. So.
And you mentioned, no,
go ahead.
You mentioned Callie Kavanaugh, of course, who was kind of a backbone of this team for 4 years, with all-time leading scorer, I think. I think she just passed the 1,000 mark late last season, so you definitely had those influences there. So you mentioned on being that role model for the freshmen like Katie Lamro and Megan Anderson, and you mentioned Coach E. Is that Coach Erica Brown?
Yes.
Yes. So I noticed the camaraderie, that's a big part. So just I'm just curious about the relationship you have with her, and if she how that has grown, and how much that the team feeds off of that even.
Yeah, so Coach E is the mother to 3 of us. She's the mother to me, Katie Lamb, and then Ken. I don't really have much to say about that, because she basically just takes us under her wing like she's our mom. But other than that, she knows when to talk to us with a little bit of love, and then she knows when to rip into us when we mess up. So I think that's where our relationship really just kind of unfolds. She's just so funny. I could be myself around her. I could be myself around all the coaches, but with her, I think we have a special connection because her last name's Brown and my last name's Brown. So it's just that Brown connection,
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about that.
No, and just communication in general, not just with the coaches, but players. Your bench gets very into it in the game, which I think just helps the people on the court. Obviously, they kind of, feed off of that as well. But you've always been someone that I think, just by nature of position and just how you play and who you are as a person, a communicator, a leader on the court. Have you noticed even a change just from last year to this year? Maybe in obviously your role on the team has become larger.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Leading scorer on the team, and just the way you talk to the team, again, younger in some ways, and then also kind of transfers, and how you communicate with them on the floor as well.
Yeah, even my coaches and some fans, like I went to Chick-fil-A and some mom was like, oh my God, like, hello, I've seen you on the Max Sports thing for Player of the Week, and I'm like, oh my God, hello. But just seeing my growth, like I would have never thought last year like I'd be this person, I'd be this leader in a way, but knowing that I had people bought in, like the freshmen are bought in, transfers are bought in, everybody else on the team, they're all bought into the same idea, to the same process. So it makes it easier just to give love to the people who's willing to, receive that love. I noticed that I'm a little hard on some of them, but I'm only hard on them because I know that they can do it. I feel like that's the same thing that Coach Carly, Coach EJ, Coach Blake says. We're hard on you guys because we know that you're capable of doing it. So when we see that you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you know that you're just trying to take a break. And we don't take breaks, because if we want to make it all the way to the top, then we got to continue to keep working day and night. What Jalen Hurts said, that Eagles play rain, sleet, snow, whenever. Like, that's us. That's Stags too. We're ready to go whenever. And we're not scared of anybody. So we're not willing to back down from a fight. But at the end of the day, me being a leader, I need to get my team ready to go and locked in from the start. I think that with this Fordham win, even though we did win, we won only by 3. And that's like not our image. That's not where we're trying to go. We're trying to win by 20 plus. We're trying to just run teams out of the court. And that's what we know that we can do. We've just been slowing down, kind of playing at our pace. We're getting comfortable a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like. We just need to continuously stay humble and continuously play our game and play it together, because when we play team basketball, we're very hard to beat.
Yeah, and you said like you reaching that top, that's where you want to be, like, that never satisfied mentality. You did reach that in 2022 season, I believe, when you were a sophomore.
Yes, sir.
I believe you guys won the MAC that year and went on to the NCAA tournament, and obviously I'm hoping that is your goal for this season. But you have to just keep looking ahead in that mentality, but especially like within the MAC conference, Sacred Heart and Merrimack are coming in 2024 and 2025, adding to the competition. And you guys have played Sacred Heart before in the past. That's where your career high, 35, this just a couple weeks ago. So I'm sure Fairfield, you guys are looking forward to that competition and just like that mentality, and just keeping that, like, the foot on the gas pedal, as they say.
Just to see, like, Sacred Heart kind of come into this conference, knowing that we just played them a couple weeks ago, it's like we're going to have rivalries back-to-back next year. So it's going to be fun. It should be fun.
Yeah. You were so tough that game.
I was refusing to lose to Sacred Heart.
Yeah.
I'm not losing to some Pioneers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sent it into overtime with, I think it was, 0.9 left.
Yeah. And then the men beat them too. So
by 10.
Yeah. What a shot. And just in general too, one other thing I wanted to touch on too is you've almost been this season at times, it feels like, hunting for shots, but in a good way. It's something where I think you are at a point where you can maybe pick and choose your moments too. In this, most recent game as well, you mentioned getting comfortable. I think in the fourth, I don't know exactly what it was, but they were on a little bit of a run, and they were getting it closer. And I just remember there was one kind of instance down the court where maybe there was initial few passes, whatever, but it was one where you just put your head down. I think you got to the line right there. So how is that something, for you kind of, do you feel empowered more this year to be able to kind of put your head down and kind of almost, in those big moments, maybe even try to put the team on the back and do your best to kind of, whether it's get to the line, go up for, an easy layup, something like that. What has is this something from your coaches?
Mm-hmm.
Do your teammates try to kind of encourage you to do this?
I think it was more of my coaches. They just basically told me to let the game come to you. Like, don't try to force it. Don't try to do anything. Because at the end of the day, I know that I'm a bucket and I can go get it at any time that I want.
Yeah.
But knowing that when I'm driving and I see two, I got shooters all around. I can just, pass that right out, assist right in the stat sheet. I think that's what's really been easiest on me, is knowing that I have people I can count on to just knock down that shot. And I don't have to kind of like do too much like I did last year. Just playing at my own pace.
Yeah.
And trying to keep us on offense. I think one of the things that I really think about when Coach Carly and Coach E talk to me is just keep us on offense. Try to do less than trying to do a lot.
Yeah.
So you said it perfectly. Like, I'm just letting the game come to me and I'm playing at my own pace.
Yeah. And I think too that's something that pace in general for you and the way you kind of play, your play style in transition is perfect for this team. And again, I mentioned earlier, I personally think you oftentimes make the right decision more than the wrong one. For you, you mentioned having those open shooters. What is kind of your game in, and feel free to get into the basketball weeds of this all if you want to go into it, but just your game in transition and with shooters, how does that look for you different? What does that open up for you offensively? And kind of when you're able to drive to the basket, obviously now people are going to have to worry about kind of the shooting of this team more. So how is that something, you've noticed as well?
I feel like just like at the Sacred Heart game, I was just able to go. Like, Coach Carly emphasizes Gus, which means go until stopped. So with any of the point guards in, as soon as the team scores, go, run, because that's when people get comfortable. That's when they start jogging back on defense. They think that they have good matchups and everything, but then as soon as they cross half court and they just see me fly by with the basketball, that's me basically saying, like, we're still here, but we're not going to back down. We're going to continue to keep running the floor. So
you'll catch them napping sometimes too. I've seen it where literally backs will be turned, like their bigs will be running into the
they'll
paint.
be talking to each other
And
too.
The games are like a track meet, like almost with like you guys are putting up like the offensive numbers, like saying like 101 against Lehman, 89 against Lipscomb, and even in that like tough loss against Vanderbilt, like you guys got it going the second half, and like
we didn't back down from that either.
I think you put up. I think you were down 15 at one point, and then you got it to within 3, and then but it just shows the the tenacity and the never giving. Go. What was it again? The Gus motto.
The Gus. Go until stop.
Go until stop. Like there was no of that, and I just think it. You obviously no conference games yet. That's going to pick up, I think, starting this Saturday.
Yep.
I think Mount St. Mary's.
St. Mary's, that too.
But that's
got a fun stretch of games here.
Yes,
to be able
I
to
believe.
Call.
Oh,
Very excited.
This is M&M. We got Mount St. Mary's and Manhattan.
Yeah. And a little bit of kind of what I want to jump to, because I'm curious to hear what you have to say about this. So obviously a student athlete, a lot going on during the year as well. So now what do these games look like for you now that you're in a break? Is this something the team looks forward to, of having, hopefully a bit more time to, I'm sure it's around the same amount of time, but for you just mentally having that break otherwise and maybe being able to just focus on this stretch of games. Is this something, you and the team are very excited for, this kind of winter break stretch? How has practice maybe look, or how will it look in your past? Just how has it looked during the break versus, what it is throughout the first couple games of the season? Just kind of talk a little bit about that as well.
Well, I'm used to the break and then having basketball kind of like as our job. I think the only adjustment would be for the freshmen, because they're not going to get used to people, not being here and it just being so quiet. But I think our same mentality, our same mindset is we got to come in hungry, and we can't ask for anything. Like, we're taking it.
Yeah.
And we can't expect anything either, because everything's just earned. Like, we have to earn that spot. So just reminding them, like, hey, we got to keep working, stay in the gym, do something, get a hobby. Play Fortnite, just do something other than just staying inside and not really doing anything, I think is something that I'd tell them. Like, just get out, find something to do.
Yeah.
Don't do anything stupid. go Stags. Like, that's it.
Definitely have to be able to focus up at times.
Yeah.
Lot can go on. It's a long
Yeah,
season.
and it'd be different if some of us had winter courses, but some of us don't. So now, like, we're just kind of worried about, focusing more on team time, spending more time as a team, and trying to get better every day. Like, in practice, Coach E said, we're starving.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't win anything. We haven't really done anything yet. I get this is our best start in a while, but we still have a whole season to go. Until we win in March, till we are MAC champions in March, that is when I could take a rest. I can just, relax. But we're not there yet.
I think you guys mentioned, going off of last year, I believe it was the quarterfinals against Siena, which was tough loss there. I think it was 59-53. But, this team has like repeated like success, like going back to Kavanaugh, and even like Lou Lopez, Sancha, who was drafted I think 5th overall. And yes, got to get the plug, WNBA plug in there. But you are right. The MAC conference, like that's. Yes, you are 7-1. It's your best start in I think 40 years. You're on a 5-game winning streak. The team is like vibes are like great right now, but like there are no conference games. Like the conference games are what decide the standings, and when you go to Atlantic City, it's fair game for anybody. I mean, you saw what St. Peter's did in 2022. The men did, and
damn near beat Marist. No, that wasn't Marist. It was Marist and Iona in the championship, but they did beat Fairfield, and then they beat someone else to be in, I think, the semifinal. Yeah. So, like, they had a run. Even their Cinderella story.
Yeah.
They really did that. But, yeah, just that. When I had the MAC Media Day in Atlantic City, they asked me, like, which place is, like, the toughest to play. And I said, that place right there, Atlantic City. Like, we have no room for mistakes when we're down there. You can't mess up. One turnover can literally make the entire game. Like, think about it. I feel like if we go to Niagara, if we go to Siena, if we go to anything else, like, that's just another game. We have the opportunity to beat them, win, loss. That's just on the score sheet. But as soon as we are in Atlantic City and you lose, we're back on that bus.
Yeah, and you mentioned too. The team not getting comfortable, obviously 7-1. There's something to celebrate there. You obviously have to take those victories as they come. But for you, is it now, do you feel the team kind of is in, a way of celebrating a bit more comfortable, or is maybe that pressure starting to add up? And, even if maybe the players aren't feeling it yet, have the coaches preached this yet about, 7-1, anything about pressure? What have they talked about that? Because again, kind of MAC preseason, I think listed as 3rd going into it. And now,
Niagara, I think, was the favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I think 1. Siena was too.
Yep.
Mentioning those, like it. Going off of that.
Yeah, Coach Blake he actually said in the huddle today, he goes, "Did we do anything? Like, I get we beat a Big Ten team. We can beat a Big East team. We didn't beat the SEC team, though. You can beat the A10 team, the ASUN team, but, like, at the end of the day, you got to beat these MAC teams. So with the start that we got, we put a target on our backs. Now we got to back it up. And I think just continuously emphasizing that and reminding each other, like, guys, you can't settle. You can't relax. Because since we put this target on our backs, everybody's going to be playing their best game against us. They have to.
Yeah. For you, what do you think the best, it doesn't necessarily have to be a win. Maybe you took something from that loss as well. What has been kind of the best performance from your team this season, or something that you all look to as, something that 10 games from now you can still kind of look back on?
I think I really like the Lipscomb game because we all just played together.
Yeah.
I think Coach really just emptied out the bench, but the way that we were there for each other, 5 on the court and people on the bench, like, it was talking, it was communication, it was cheering, it was loud, it was fun. Like, we were just playing with so much fun. We weren't even worried about getting back or getting yelled at by Coach. Like, we were just playing to our strengths, having fun, and just moving the ball. Like, this family culture that we got, I think, is the best that it's been in years. And it's only going to go up from here. So just us just sticking to what we do and what we know, I think that's what's really going to make us make us. What was I gonna say? Make us a good team.
Yeah,
it's gonna make us a good team.
I know we mentioned at the start too. This team offensively looks, better as well, different. And a defensive team last year, I think even defensively, you guys look better. For you, were there choice things that stood out that Coach Carly came into the season early and said, hey, we need to kind of either fix this or work on this? And now through the games, what are kind of the new things you're looking at? Obviously, it's going to be posted online, so don't give too much strategy and everything. But what are some of those things that have stood out through the season?
Honestly, Coach just telling me to Gus and then jump stop. I think that's really just been the different changer within the team, because now that I don't have to worry about passing it to someone and then them not making the shot. Like I have shooters all around. Yeah. All around. So the more attention that I bring while I'm, gussing, going to the hoop, and then I draw a three, I just bring this entire crowd. I know that I got teammates that can knock it down. So I think that's what's been really easy about it. I also feel like that's why I've really just been relaxed, is like I know I have other scorers all around the court, so it just makes it much easier.
Yeah, one thing too I've noticed too is obviously a big part of your game is your passing ability and everything, and I think this year too the team, this team looks to pass a lot of the times. I think the offense is just faster the way you're moving the ball. People are pretty skilled with their passes too. There's been some pretty ones that we've made on the call.
Yeah, Nikki G had one in the Fordham game when it went through the girl's legs, and then Carl finished on the left side. I was like, wow.
The team, like one of the things I was like talking about with Max, that this team is like very like shifty and like tactical. Like I think Megan Anderson had like a few plays which obviously got the bench going, and
her
then
footwork inside on some of those is just
insane. Yeah, the turn. I know what you're talking about. The turnaround, up and under.
Oh yeah,
because you are not the biggest team. Kavanaugh and Hernan Gomez were like your go-to centers for so long now, and now, Fisher is your big, but, still a freshman, still getting used to the system, although has shown signs of promise, as have all of the freshmen. You mentioned that, like, being able to, like, trust your teammates and that, like, building that culture.
That right there, trusting my teammates. I think I don't think I could say that last year as much. Like, trusting my teammates. This year I could definitely say that the trust within the team is definitely there. Like I trust my teammates with my life. I know that if I'm going to go dive on the ground, Lammy's going to come right behind me just to go get that ball. Like I know that I got people who got my back. So just the team culture has definitely changed this year.
Yeah, and speaking of diving to the ground, that Fordham game, that was a
nail biter.
That was a physical one too.
Mac, like Atlantic City type. Like,
it
was like
they didn't call anything.
Exciting.
I know it was very shocking, but even just that look from St. John's to Fordham. I think I was calling one of them, but I was there for both and watching. I think Fordham definitely more physical than St. John's. So just from even a week to week, I mean, sometimes I know you go in and know kind of how the team plays if they play physical that way. But how do you all as a team to like those adjustments during the game of realizing, okay, they're playing it like much more physical? What does that look like? What do you do in that time on the bench? Because I know professionally they talk. you hear all this stuff about like halftime adjustments, and then these athletes come out and they're like, I'm going to the bathroom during halftime. Like there's not much to do. So just on the court, kind of what do maybe some of those adjustments look like?
Definitely when we get into halftime, we talk about it as a team, and we're like, guys, like we will either ask the bench, like, what do you see? What are we doing wrong? And if someone says like we're not gussing enough, or we're not looking for our shots more, I think that's where the adjustment comes from. And then as soon as Coach Carly comes in and she asks like, hey, did you guys talk? And then she kind of reiterates what we basically say. It gives us a easier something else to fall back on when we're like, oh, okay, like we know what we did wrong. Now we know how to fix it. This coaching staff and his team really does a good job at just giving feedback and telling people where they need to go or what they really need. And I think that's what makes it easier for us to perform on the court. Like, say I got 3 fouls coming into the second half, and she starts me on the bench and has either Ken or Lammy go, I think it's easier because I can talk to Lammy right after she gets out, and I'll be like, hey, like, you need to slow down a little bit. I feel like you're playing a little too fast.
Yeah.
And then just more jump stops on your stops.
Yeah.
And then her just running out. But I think it also just makes it easier because they listen. And we all listen because we know that even though this is the freshman's first year, I think that the respect, and not only just the respect, but the friendship, the love, the connection, it's definitely there.
Yeah.
And you said like everyone was buying in. Like those those like Power 5 conferences. You had that win against Rutgers. You lost to Vanderbilt, but it was a very tough game, and you found your thing going. But I also think you mentioned something about discipline and the 3 fouls, and obviously like going back to last year, like the discipline, the foul trouble that was what not just like pertaining to you, but maybe even like with the whole team. It's like, but now you kind of like late in games we're seeing this like bend but not break where you're having those like clutch moments. And I don't know whether it's like diving on the court for a ball or someone in the right spot at the right time getting a 3. I just was wondering like what like the emphasizing like the bend do not break mentality, because you have started like on fire. Like the first quarter start we talked about like 182 to 96, but then like the offense, you've seen it from game to game, like the game against Fordham, the game against St. John's. Like how is that emphasized?
I feel like we just, as a team, we tend to slow down when we're not hitting our shots. And we also tend to stop shooting when we're not hitting our shots. So one thing that Coach Carly emphasizes was shooters keep shooting. You miss a shot, okay, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. But these are good misses. It's not like it's an air ball. It's not like it's a front rim kind of shot. So just telling my teammates, you're good, next shot, you got it, stay in it. And then also just being the leader on the team, trying to get my team going by just letting them go at my pace, letting them go on me. So as soon as the other team scores and I'm like, let's go, Meg, I know that she's behind me. And as soon as I jump stop, she's right behind me, boom, 3. But just continuously going and not letting our motor just cut out. Not letting the teams kind of get ahead of steam and do better than us. Like we're not like that. We're not just gonna let people score on us. We're not gonna let things happen. Like if it happens, then we were either lazy, sloppy, or unpoised. But the more that we stay disciplined, and I feel like I've been very disciplined because we know that we got a long bench. Like we got people who can go in for me, but just trying to be there for my team more by staying poised and playing smart. It helps us win games.
You mentioned that target on your back earlier. I think was it Coach E or 7-1? Like so what? What did you accomplish?
I think it was both.
It was both, but still, like that mentality being emphasized, I think goes a long way. And I think you're seeing it not just on the court, but off the court. As starting 7-1, you can't complain, but season really hasn't started.
Yeah, just basically reminding them, like, guys, like, yes, we're 7-1. We only played 8 games, but we really haven't done anything. We play Mount St. Mary's this Saturday, and I could say that from our energy today, it was kind of low. Like we weren't really that happy vocal team that we usually are. And I think that if we get back to what we used to be and how we continue to communicate, continue to talk, high fives, just continue to make connections, then we're going to be up there where we need to be.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too. All the stuff we've talked about, obviously, that communication helps out on defense, so that when you're either switching, help stop fouls if you're coming late to something. But that's the thing. Like if you're all communicating, someone's not coming late over a screen and getting a foul. You're saying if shots aren't landing, well then you go down on the defensive end, get a stop,
basically
and then
just
that way it
helping each
doesn't
other
matter.
out. Yeah.
Katie Lamro too. She's
She's
a
dog.
pest on
She's
defense.
A dog.
She had I think we were watching the game versus St. John's. She pulled up from, I think it was, I don't even know, it was like 2
There was
steps
just
away.
her and Meg hit some
the
unbelievable
confidence
back-to-back threes.
the confidence they play with, I think, is contagious for this team.
Oh yeah.
And
and
right
it shows too. It
like you
shows
said,
from Nikki G.
Yeah.
You can see it from Ken. You can see it from Carly when she's just on the ball with the wing and then taking it to the hoop straight down. I don't think coach is telling us not to shoot. I think she's just literally telling us to be smart about our shots and pass up a good shot for a great shot.
Yeah.
Like don't do too much. We know that we got all this talent on the court. You know that you got players around you who can do something with the ball. Just, take your time and do what you need to do.
Yeah. Just going back a little to coaching as well, you talk about, it seems this team as well, there seems to be a lot of, coming out from the players as well, leadership from there and being able to talk about that. But a lot of the staff is in their second year. And so how have you, having been on the team last year as well, how have you noticed kind of the transition, these coaches? Has there been any noticeable changes to you, whether just over time or coming into this season or anything like that?
I think the only change that I've really noticed is like Coach Carly says that she wants more player-led teams. And I think with her making the three of us captains and just she'll step back and let us do our thing. But if we don't say anything, that's when she's going to come at us for not doing it because she knows that we're capable of doing it. Yeah. So just having that responsibility and having to think about that in the back of my mind, like, okay, what am I doing as a point guard, as a leader, and as someone who can bring so much energy to this team? Like, what else do we need to do to keep it going? What else? Who do I need to talk to about the zones, the mans, the different colors that we're in? Like, just all that stuff. And I think her giving us so much trust, her trusting us, and her letting us know that, like, we're capable of doing it, I think that's what really gets us going and helps us out a lot, too.
Definitely.
Like, she's putting her trust into us, and that feels good as a player. Just knowing that your head coach trusts you, and, like, yes, you can make mistakes, but she's not going to hold that against you. Yeah. That's where it really helps.
Try to go to fourth week in a row for a player in the week?
Man, I don't know. It all depends. It all depends on how we do on our games this weekend. So if we can continue to play our game and try to get a bigger, margin than we do right now, I think we'll be good.
I mean, in conference now, so
yeah,
the urgency level is definitely ticked to a 10.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Not saying it wasn't at a 10 already, but
like
these are the games that matter.
Now it's time to flip that switch and
put up or shut up.
Yeah.
Andrew, we'll put you in the huddle. You got to come talk to the team here.
What time is it? Game time.
Just Gus all the way, man.
Literally. Go until stopped, and they can't stop me. That's why I keep going. All
right. Well, Janelle, just wanted to thank you so much for coming on today. Glad we were able to have you here, just kind of as first edition of something. We'll make a name for it later. Andrew,
we'll figure it out.
We'll hope more interviews to come. Definitely with other Fairfield athletes on campus. So thank you all so much for listening. If you are listening on WVOF Sports right now, don't forget to hit subscribe as well, and we'll kind of be there with some of the calls. But if you're anywhere in the area, just come see the game in person. Obviously,
please
pack the stands.
Even 3 games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I know.
Take them.
Let's keep this going, man.
Coming up on a fun slate here. But again, thank you all so much for listening. We will see you all next time.
Go Stags.